Okay, so I want to do the fourth project. I'll click on that. I did that and opened it up. And here it gives me these prices for tattoos and um, gives me kind of the function, the piecewise function in English, and then um, I have the piecewise function in our typical function notation with our intervals and so forth. Now this isn't all of it, it's a lot of it. It's enough for us. um, it actually, you can buy, you can keep getting a discount for even more tattoos, but I think going up to 400 tattoos is plenty, and for us to do our work. Okay, and it just goes through and makes sure we understand how to evaluate our piecewise function, and then it suggests we um, watch some videos first. Now, these videos, they are older videos, so they may mention prices or quantities. Like I said, this goes beyond 400. It goes up to like 10,000 or 50,000 or something like that. These videos that it mentions may do that, but um, that's okay. They're older videos. This one's new as far as looking at it this way. So it says open Desmos, sign in. Well, I have Desmos open and I'm signed in. And it says, enter this. Now, you could try highlighting it and doing a copy. Coming over here and trying to paste. Oh yeah, you can't paste that one. I need to do Control V. Notice it's not happy. It doesn't like stuff. And as I look at it, I see these less than or equal to. There seem to be spaces there. Now I can grab right here and make this much wider. And that'll be something you'll probably want to do, is kind of go back and forth with this thing. So notice it has an F1 and the 1's not small. So see, I think that's wrong. And see, now it's small, so that looks good. If I go back to what I'm trying to do, it'd be good to look at that. Notice there's a curly brace right there and right here at the end. So I could just type all this and just do that. And if you type a F1, it should make it small. So see, for instance, if I type F and then hit a 1, it made it small automatically. So if you type it, there are good things to typing it. But also you can try to make it work. And now notice, as soon as I put that in, it actually seems to be pretty happy. Now though, I would take this and I would type a less than sign and then hit the equals, and notice how it makes it a less than or equal to sign instead of this. It makes it, it's shorter if you do that, and looks a little better, I think. And so I'm just highlighting each one of those and fixing it that way. And less than or equal to there, and less than or equal to there. So it seems to be happy. It says it's plotting it. I've got the colon there. Now I think I would put a space after the comma there, and a space after the comma there. It just helps me read it a little better. But what we have is for x between 1 and 5, we have the function 4.98x. Then from 6 to 12, we have the function 2.98x. And from 13 to 24, 1.98x. Okay, so that's the F1. And I can put in F2 and F3 the same way. Now I think I'm going to pause this and put those in just so it doesn't take as much time on the video. Okay, so I put the other two in. You know, again, you can just type them as you go. You could do a split screen or something like that and put them in, but you know, you should get they may be different colors, they may be some of the same colors, but you know, you should get a nice colored little wavy line saying everything's okay. And if you grab this and pull it back this way and just kind of grab your axes and move them around, and I'm zooming out with the mouse wheel, you know, I see something like this. So that looks good. I think I have it. Going back to here, you know, it says, yeah, it should look like this. And then next we want to take all those three parts and put them together into a single function. Because right now I have, you know, I have three functions, but I want to put them into a single function, and we're going to name that p of x. So mostly we could have done this all at once with just a p of x and done, you know, all these pieces all at once, but you couldn't see them very well. You know, it's one of those things you want to learn to use technology in a smart way that you can see what you're doing. And here I can see all these, and if I tried to put all 9 of these inequalities all on one line for one function right to begin with, it would be hard to see them all, and so I've just found a way to do, you know, a little bit of it at a time. We do 3 inequalities, 3 inequalities, 3 inequalities. That is our overall function that we want, but it's 3 separate functions right now. So I think I copied that, and so I'll try pasting it. Oh, no, I didn't. So, well, I can just go undo. So I did highlight it, and I'll do a Control C to copy it, and come in here and Control V. And again, you know, if I do a copy and paste, I have to fix it up. So even after I add those, it's saying, oh, F needs to be a slider. Well, why? Because see, that F1, the 1's not a subscripted, and so I got rid of it. You know, I'll click beside it, do a backspace. Oops, hit a 2 on that one. Click beside this one, hit a 3. Now it's happy, and right now I feel like something's wrong, because you see how this is black, and this is highlighting some of these, so I kind of feel like something's not quite right, but let me try fixing the inequalities. And so I'll highlight that, and if you know, if it's still off a little bit, I'll go in and see if I'll pause again and figure out if I had a typo somewhere. And let's see, so put a space there, make that a less than or equal to, because see this black one, it should be on top of everything, but it's not there. So I'm going to first just kind of zoom in here. But yeah, you know, it looks to me like something's not quite right there. So let me go check on that. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I looked at it and realized what had happened. This part in here, I fixed it now for you all, but I had forgotten to edit this from when I had pared this down to fewer intervals, and so it caused a problem because I did not have this set to the right thing. So it should have been 1 to 24 because that's what F1 did, 1 to 24. And then F2 was 25 to 199, so F2 here should be 25 to 199, and then F3 was 200 and bigger. And so I edited that here so that that's all set. And we do that, and now you know, I see that this one covered everything up nicely, so it's in black, and you know, everything I see here at this point is in black. Again, I can make a nicer picture to show you all by doing that, and so you can really see it show up now. So I did that, and it says reduce this thing, make the graph bigger, click the wrench and go from -20 to 600 and -5 to 100. So see, I already had done that. I made this smaller. Click the wrench again. I did that to make that better, but it says have X go from -20 to 600, and the y-axis, what the heck was that? That was from -5 to 100, so it's already negative there, so I'll do a -5 to 100. And then I can either just click here on the wrench again to make it disappear, click out here, whatever I want to do. So if I click on the wrench, I can just click out there. But there, you know, we can see everything pretty well. And if I move my little face there, we can see that goes up to the 600 and so forth. So we can see our whole function. And at this point, you know, I could turn these off. I think it tells me to here in a moment. So I did this. I got this picture. It says take a screenshot. I'm not going to do that now. You all, this is your 4th project. You should be able to do your screenshots now at this point. And so, you know, and now it says, hey, let's just try evaluating this, and it says find P of 4, and so I can just go here and say P of 4, and that's $19.92, and that's what it says I should get. P of 500, well, let's see, P of 500, $75, and that's what it says I should get. Just kind of checking these to make sure we don't get anything too strange. And then it says, hey, check P of 350 and 400, and so if I change this to 350, I get $63, but when I change it to 400, it's only $60. So I probably don't want to purchase 350 tattoos because that would be $3 more than purchasing 400. So why not just purchase 400? Yeah, right? I mean, it makes sense. And so that's what this is about, is that with these bulk discounts, um, it's, you don't always want to order, you may think you want to order 350, but if you actually evaluate the functions, the discount prices, you may find you want to order more because you can get the 350 you wanted for a lower price, plus you got extra ones. So that would be nice. And sure enough, that's what we found, the 63 and $60. And now what this does is it leads us through getting rid of all the amounts we don't want. So for instance, we don't want 350. Well, how do we figure out what we don't want? And so what it asks us to do is go to the farthest right, go here, and find out what this is. And see, that's 400 and then 60. So we already have it on P of 400 here, and so we knew that. But what we want to do is kind of make a line, a horizontal line across here, so I can add y equals P of 400. And see, that makes a line, and what it shows me is that if I move left here and look here, if I bought 333.33 tattoos, I would get, it would cost me $60, exactly the same as 400. Well, so what that means though is that because that was a, let me click back on there, because that's a fraction in this case, 0.333 at the end. What that means is if I bought 333, a little more to the left here, it would be less than $60. And if I buy 334, it's more than $60. So we can check that. If I buy 300 and what is it, 34, you see it's a little bit more than $60. So I might as well buy 400. And that is what this is getting at. It just asks, I'm plotting points here to kind of see this. And so we can add that point, the 400, P of 400. So I could do that here. Make it a point, so I say 400, comma, P of 400. Whoops. I don't know what I seem to have gotten. There we go. And see, it made a nice red dot here, and if I label it, it shows that I have 400, and in the P of 400, the price is $60. It says also plot the point 350.63, but again, well, I don't have to know that it costs $63. I know it's the price of 350, so I'll plot the point 350, and P of 350, and I'll label it. And so I've got those two labeled, and I can see it's above this blue line. We haven't added that blue line yet, I don't think, in here. So now here it says enter y equal P of 400 and click on it. So I did that not quite in the order this was. But then, I kind of know what I'm trying to do in this. I read it. Well, I wrote it. but so I put in that line, and that line shows me that anything above the line costs more than 400. So I might as well not order this many. I might as well order 400. Now I could also do that with these other lines here, but we'll attack those one by one and move left from what we've done, because we're trying to find the lowest cost, and so I don't want to just I'm not being really efficient if I kind of go through and cut off all of these just from this 400. Just cut off the one right next to it. So that's what we want to do, is we want to find that point there, you see 333, and we want to cut this off at 333. And so what this says to do, well, I don't think so it doesn't tell us to do anything yet. It just says if we need 334 here to 339 tattoos, we should just order 400. And that's what this visualization helps me see, is that at 334 that costs more than 400, and that line helped me find it. Okay, so now what? And it says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy each of these F's. And so what I'll probably want to do is, just to kind of see better, I'm going to make this big again. I'm going to go here, I'm going to highlight that. I'll use a Control-C for copy because I can't use a right click. And I'm going to come down here and I'll use a Control-V for paste. And I'm going to notice how this got all confused because I've got F1 defined twice. If I just come in here now and make that a G, it's happy. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll highlight this one, do a Control-C, do a Control-V there, and immediately change that to a G. And do the same thing here, Control-C, Control-V, change that to a G. And now I have these three new functions that are all just lying on top of the ones I already had. But the thing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix these so that they don't have any of the X values that we don't want to buy. That's what this is asking us to do. So, you know, we copied all those, so I did that. So I've got to there. Go to the gray dots again, and the intersection is the 333.3. So we want to order only up to 333. Any more than 333 and up to 399, it doesn't make sense to do it. That was that picture. And so what we do is we go into our G3 and we edit this spot right here. So we've got 300 to 399. Well, the 300 was fine, but we don't want to go as high as 399. We just want to set that at 333. And see what that does is it shortened that. Now I think this says somewhere so the next thing, so we can see what we did, is turn off everything except the y equal p of 400 and the g's. So, you know, I go in here and I'm going to click on that to not show that. I'm going to go up here, click on those to turn them off so I can't see them, and just keep this in the g's. And now if I pull this over, And well, the labels are still showing, so I can click here to say don't label it anymore, and click there to say don't label it anymore. And now what you see is that this line that was the interval starting at 300, it stops at the blue line, and it's no taller than the thing right to it, because now I can see, okay, I should buy, if I'm buying this many, it's going to cost over 50 bucks. It's going to cost more and more until I get to almost $60. And then, well, if I'm going to pay $60, I should jump over here to 400. And I can just see that because that's the height I stop at. And I shouldn't order anything in here. Nothing down here from 334 to 399. So that's what that picture shows me. And so, this is showing that. And it says, okay, I can start defining my best cost function. And right now it says, if I have 400 or more, that'll be 0.15 times n. And where did I get that? Well, I just got it from here, 0.15 times x there, but n. And then in the 300 range, 300 to 333, it's 0.18. But notice, see, this only goes up to 333. So I'm going to build up this new function. Instead of p of n, I'm going to have this uppercase B of n that tells me how to buy tattoos. So if I wanted 350 tattoos, I wouldn't buy 350 tattoos. I would go and keep going up until I got to the next number, which is 400, and I would buy 400 tattoos. It'd be cheaper. And so that's what we're trying to build here. And it says now we just continue left. And so I got to the bottom of this. That gave me that. Now I want to go here. Well, that's at 300. So what I'm going to do, let's bring this out just a little bit. I'm going to look at P at y equal P of 300. And see, that puts me right there at 350 and $54. 300 tattoos, $54. Now notice, 200 tattoos also cost me $54. Well, one could argue that, if all you needed were 200 tattoos, that's what you'd buy. Maybe. But we're going to say that, well, yeah, but why only buy 200 if you could get 300 for the same price? And so we're going to again use this line to get rid of everything here above the line. Well, that turns out to be everything in that interval. And so when I come down here, what I want to do is I want to edit this again to get it down like I did the 333, except this is a funny case because I could argue that I'd put it at 200, which would just give me that one price, but even then I don't want to do it because it cost exactly the same as the 300 did. And so I'm just going to edit this to get rid of all of it. I'll just do a backspace, and I have that. And so that actually got rid of a whole interval. And I keep continuing. Now, the farthest right that I have anything is still this 300 for $54. But now I'm going to look at this one. And so if I click that, I can click here and see that 135 tattoos cost me $54. And so, well, I don't want 135 tattoos then, but 134 would be fine, and I could check that. You know, I could look here and say, okay, what's 134 and P of 134? Now I can't see anything, I'll have to turn it on, and it's green, so it's right there. I could label it, and we see that 134 tattoos cost me $53.60. If I click on that, does it make it darker? No. So you might have to squint to see that in the video, but it's $53.60. So I would buy 134 tattoos, but I would not buy 135 tattoos because that cost me the same as 300 tattoos. So 135 costs $54 right there, and 300 cost me $54. So I don't want 135. And so I would go in here, I need to make this a little bit wider yet. And this 100, I need to stop, go from 100 to 134. And when I do that, if I bring this back in so we can see things a little better, you see what happened is, right here's my interval from 100 over. I cut off everything up here that cost at least $54. It may have cost more, but I cut everything off there. And now, you know, what I would do is I would continue to the left. And so this says, okay, do the 200. We got rid of that whole interval. This circle shows that, yep, there's nothing there anymore. So that's what that was doing. And then here's the 135 and 134. Oh, I think I got a typo here. I'll fix that for you all. It says 143. I think that's supposed to be 134. Let's go back and look here. Yep, 134. So I got my numbers mixed up there. I'll fix that. Let me pause this. Okay, so I got that 143 fixed to 134. And you know, so I did that, and now, you know, what I would do is I would come down here to the P of 100, since I'm at 100, and get that. I would come over here and check this and see that, oh yeah, I only want to go to 65 instead of all the way up here, all the way to 100. So I think this starts at 50. I only want to go to 65, and I keep going over, and each time I take the bottom one here. This is at 50, so I would do a P of 50 and so forth, and keep working my way to the left as I do this. Okay, and that's what it asks you to do. It says so far we have that much, and you need to now, you know, get down to the next interval that starts at 50, and then the next interval starts at 25, and so forth. You should be able to fill this whole thing in. So I kind of give away what the first couple intervals should look like. You should make sure it works that way. But of course you'll get there by moving from the right to the left. You'll keep going to the left. And I also point out that you know, the interval 200 to 299 totally disappeared. You know, there's nothing here from the original 200 interval. Well, one other interval also totally disappears. And you know, it says get some screenshots here, and now here's your hint on what other interval disappears. Notice I want you to show me what you're doing when you're trying to decide what to do with the 13 to 24 interval. So there's a big hint. Okay, and that's what you're supposed to do. Write it up nicely. You know, here are all the required items. and hopefully that'll get you going pretty well on this project. There are some other videos again. They are a little older, so they may have some things that are a little different than exactly what we have in here. Okay, we'll call that done.